Good morning. Going for a quick walk this morning. I'm already somewhat late, but still gonna head out. All right. We'll be backpacking. Okay. I'm really late. So it's 6 after 6. Normally by this time I'm done already and back. But I just feel like I need a little bit of backpacking this morning. So I'm heading out. All right, my grass is drying out because my sprinkler pump, well, the box, the what do you call that, the fuse box in the that controls the sprinkler pump blew up. I mean, I don't know what's going on because ironically there were some guys that came to look at my sprinkler to change out the whole system a few last week sometime. And when I went back out there, they were checking the sprinklers and doing some stuff out there. And then when I went back out there, the to turn it on, the thing wouldn't work. So either it's just a bad coincidence or these guys did something to my sprinkler. And so, but I'll leave it at that. It's already broken now. So anyway, that's it. A new box, about $700, and a new sprinkler pump, probably around another 800, and the work to put it in. Oh, and I gotta get a new timer, a new indexing valve. You're looking at about $2,000 worth of work out there. So that's it. This is just terrible. Anyway, what you gonna do? That's what's happening on the home. you you have issues. All right, so I'm just gonna do this brisk walk here, my backpack, and I'm gonna turn this off at some point because I want to listen to some scriptures. Got a client that's been stressing me out really bad. Normally in the evening time, I'm winding down, like at by 7 o'clock or so. I gotta limit the amount of stuff that I do with clients. What time is it? It's now 6:11. Wow. I gotta get back prior to 6:30. But anyway, I could pray while I walk. Yeah, but yeah, but this client, I decided to help him out because he was referred to me by a client of mine. Well, not a client yet, but a prospect of mine for commercial. Said, well, this guy's a veteran and he's looking for a place. He's had realtors before, and it should have been a sign when he said, oh, you'll be my fourth realtor. I said, well, maybe because he's a vet and he's a little bit cranky that these guys don't know, how to deal with him. And so it was rough. I had to pick him up in my car with his walker, his rolling walker thing. I had to pick him up because he didn't have a ride, to take him to look at homes. And Nowadays, no realtor want to do that. Much more pick up a, a disabled person and driving them around the car, and the person is cranky. Him and his he has a caretaker, a young girl. So anyway, so he decided he's gonna buy the house. That one house we looked at, he really loved it, really loved the house. So we're gonna buy it, and we make the offer on the home. That we negotiated. I negotiated my tail off. Try to get him. We were asking for 6%. It's a $430,000 home that we come on a contract at that price, and I was negotiating to get 6% back for his closing costs. So it wouldn't, since he's using a VA loan, and you don't have to put a down payment. It wouldn't cost him a dime to get into this house, not a dime. But they said, "Oh no, we negotiated, and it came down to $8,000." So we got him $8,000 towards his closing costs. Still, when the lender gave him the printout, it wouldn't he still wouldn't have paid anything. Now he wanted to get money back in his pocket. Like, oh, they don't give you money back these days. And so we did all of that. We were moving along, got the inspection done, and all these times, and every time I go to the house, we have to pick him up, take him there. Got the inspection done. Then we're moving along with the loan, and the mortgage broker says, "Are you married?" He says, "Yes, he's married." "Yeah, where's your wife?" He said, "Well, he's married, but they've been apart, separated for over 3 years. She took off. She left." That's what he said. And then, so he said, "Okay, your wife will have to sign." He said, "Well, she can't sign because she's not here." "Well, you have to find her." He said, "You don't know where she is." So we then he said he found her, and we started working on figuring out how to get a signature. Then he said, "Oh, the wife doesn't have a valid ID." I said, "Oh, that's okay. We'll do a power of attorney. Somebody who knows her can say, we can use the old ID, and somebody who knows her can vouch for her that this is who she says she is." Then he said, "Well," then we heard, "Well, the wife is even now we haven't spoken to the wife. He was just this person talking to us, telling us what the wife is saying. Oh, the wife is away in Michigan or somewhere." And all this time, me, and the other agent, we're scrambling around trying to figure out how to solve this problem. We're calling title, we're calling other title company, the mortgage broker is calling people you know, we're calling lawyers to try to figure out how to get this done. And we keep hearing all these different stories. Then he said, "She's illegal in the country." He says when she came here, before they got married, she came under she came under somebody else's name. Somebody who he's deceased now. Her dead daughter or something like that. But anyway, she came under somebody else's name, and ICE found out, immigration found out, and now she's on the run. She's not going to sign anything because she's in hiding. She's afraid she gets picked up. Moreover, he said they gave her till the 24th of April to get out of the country. That was yesterday. To get out of the country. or turn herself in. I don't know how much these whether these stories are true or not. So he said, okay, the people, the seller and the seller's agent, they were like, what in the world are we dealing with here? But I kept saying, oh, things like this happen all the time. Just, well, they do happen, but not to us. And so he said he wants to rent the place because they had it up for rent also. He said he wants to rent it to sort out, and then if they could keep him in the contract because he really loved the home, so he could the divorce thing. Because if he get a lawyer, he could get a divorce. I guess on the basis of abandonment or whatever. I think if you file a divorce and the person doesn't respond within a certain time, then you can automatically just be divorced from them. But anyway, I think if you send it to their last known address and they don't respond, then you can automatically be divorced. I think that's how it works. Somewhat like that. Anyway, this is all playing out here, and so we started the lease. And he was going to move in on the 15th of April. That's when the lease. He said he wants to move in as soon as possible. So we said, okay, we'll do it on for the 15th. This was like on April, the beginning of April 4th, somewhere there. We said we'll do it for the 15th. And he said, well, you know what? I don't think I'll be able to do it for the 15th. Mainly because he didn't have the money yet. And he had just spent a lot of money for moving and all that, to move out of his old place. I couldn't relay all of this to the other agent. Because they're going to say, oh, well, this guy don't have money to pay rent. Anyway, he makes enough money to pay the rent. He makes he makes more than 2 times the rent. And he doesn't have a vehicle. He doesn't have a house. He doesn't have, all he's paying for is his rent and food. So he should be good. Anyway, time is it? Oh, 6:21. Almost back. Anyway, we said, okay, what day? Then he wanted to go. So he said, I'll go. It'll have to be May 1st. We said, all right, May 1st. Yeah, you can May 1st we'll settle up everything. You can put a deposit now, and May 1st we'll settle up. But then he came back and said, look, the moving company, I'm going to have to get my stuff out of storage at the moving company before May 1st, because if I wait till May 1st, then they're going to give me, I'm going to have to pay for another month of storage. I said, okay. All right, let's see what we can do with that. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, all right. You're working hard early.
Yeah. I start early.
Yes. Get more done, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so he said he said he since because of that, let's move in on the 28th. I asked for the 28th. So we changed the lease again. And he came back and said, you know what? Let's do the 25th because I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. Let's do the 25th. So we changed it again to the 25th. He said, I'll have the money on the 25th. I'll have everything on the 25th. All this time, I'm not telling the people that it's a money issue. They're saying, he has some issues he's trying to straighten out. I didn't tell him, hey, it's because but he just moved and he's on a fixed income and he just moved and all that, so I understand. He had to move out of his previous apartment. The lease was up and they wouldn't renew it because he was trying to buy. So he moved out. Move on. We write up a lease for the 25th. Now today's the 25th, and I'm hearing last evening I sent him a text. We were talking, and he said, "Yeah, we're gonna meet tomorrow, which is today." Good morning.
Good morning.
And we're gonna meet at 11:30, and settle up, and you get your keys, and everything will be dandy. Well, he called me. I texted him and told him how to make out the cashier's check or money order, because it has to be cleared funds. I texted him and said, look, this amount goes to this entity, that amount goes to that entity. Some goes to the landlord, some goes to the broker, the real estate broker. He said, okay. Then he called me back and said, Ralph, I went to the, you're not gonna believe what happened. I went to the bank. He said, we're gonna have to wait till Monday. I said, why? He said, I had made the check out to you a while back. I had bought the cashier's check and made it out to you. And I don't know why anybody would do that. And remember, I was telling you to come get your money because it's here. I have the money. I don't remember him telling me to come get my money. But he said, I made it out to you. I took it to Bank of America so I could give it back to them, and they could give me they could divide it up and to deposit so I could write new checks. And the lady took it from me, and when I said to her that I had needed the checks, they took it from me and she stamped it rather. And when I told her I need checks from it, she said, well, if you deposit it, you can't get it back. It's not going to clear for another 3 or 4 days. And he asked her to give him the check back, and she said she already stamped it. How true that is, I don't know. I just think the guy didn't have the money. That's my feeling. And he's giving me these stories. So I was saying to him, well, this is not going to go over well with the landlord and the landlord's agent there, the landlord. And so he said, he started cursing and talking about, white people and all that. I said, well, it doesn't have anything to do with white or black or Indian or it's business. You have to do what the business what it calls for. So he said, he got up angry and said, oh, he's about to cry now, all this stress and all this pressure, and I gotta hang up the phone. I just gotta hang up the phone. So he hung up. Then he started texting me a litany of texts a listening of text messages about how he was, about how what happened to him, what white people did to him, and how he was raped by a white man, and uh, a bunch of stuff. So, the whole time I was saying to him, I said, look, what we can do, before he decided he was going to hang up, I said, what we can do is we can go to the bank. I said, I could spin it to them this way if we have a copy of the check. I said, do you have a copy of the cashier's check? He said, no. I said, well, we can go to the bank. We're not meeting till 11:30, so we can go to the bank in the morning, or you can go to the bank. I said, you can go to the bank in the morning and get a copy of it and just text it to me, showing, so I can tell them, look, he made it out to me instead. That's just a mistake, and that way we could all say, well, it's a mistake. Let's just call it off till Monday. And that's when he was saying he got to hang up. He's just stressed. So that's why I think something's going on there. But he already transferred the light and the water in his name. So I'm like, why? If you're not gonna move forward, if you know you didn't have the money to finish, to get into the house. So I don't know what he's trying to do. If he's trying to do that to say, oh, light and water's in my name, so you have to let me in before I give you this money. I don't know. So anyway, so he sent me the screenshot I did. I took a screenshot of the text because I want to keep him all this crazy stuff. Just a litany of a lot of crazy stuff. And so I told him, just I stopped talking then and just to keep saying, well, when he said all that happened to him, I said, I'm sorry that all that happened to you. I tried to attune and said, sorry that all that happened to you. It's really hard. And, people go through stuff. I understand that. I've been through stuff myself. But, and so I said, let's sleep on it. And then tomorrow we'll talk about it. But he kept texting. Oh, he kept texting. So I just never responded after that. And so that's where we are with my client who stressed me out yesterday. So last night I got home, I just couldn't wind down. This was too late in the evening for me to be doing all this crazy stuff. Normally by 8 o'clock I'm winding down. By 7 o'clock I get off of the computer and all that. And then by 8, and go shower and all that. But I was out showing a home a little bit late. And yeah, I'm back now. I'm back. I was out showing the home. And so I couldn't, I was still, I was late getting back. Yeah, so couldn't wind down, couldn't go to sleep. I have a headache. I still have a headache. Had a headache yesterday evening. Just couldn't. By the time I got home, tried to wind down, tried to shower, go to sleep. It was just so late. I prayed, and I still couldn't feel like I was wound down. I said, let me do something to distract me. I tried to watch the Carifta games, the Caribbean track and field thing that they have every year. Is it every year? I think it's every year. Jamaica was dominating. Yeah, so so I said, oh, yes, this is fun. It'll take my mind off of it. Still couldn't go to sleep, and so I ended up just being up till 3 in the morning. I finally think I fell asleep like maybe around 4. Woke up 5:15 because I always get up at that time of the morning, always. I just got back here, took off my backpack, and I'm gonna get on the prayer line right now. I think it's 6:30 already. Oh wow, 6:33. Yeah. So anyway, that's my story. I still have a headache. Prayer will do me some good right now. All right, guys. That's my little bit of exercise for today. It felt good.